Okay, we have a countdown. I was confused. I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, is it Happy New Year already? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new off-season edition of 27 Outs. I, of course, am Ivan alongside Stefan. Shout out to all of you who showed love on last week's interview, of course, with Heath Bell. Shout out to Heath Bell for sitting down with us for 30 minutes just to chop it up, when it comes to what he's doing now, life after baseball, what he did back in the days. And, he shared a couple of stories with us. A lot of you guys have shown a lot of love when it comes to that interview. So just wanted to give a quick thanks. But anyway, right, as you know, when it comes to the off season, Stefan, not much of a schedule, right? Because we tend to wait until teams start to do things. And teams have already started doing things. Well, boy, oh boy, did the New York Mets do something earlier today. Stefan, how are you feeling? Feel free to, start things off with whatever you want to start things off with. But, it's interesting because we have a lot of Mets fans who tune into the show, right? So,
All right, we're gonna start with some story time. Can I tell the story? I'm gonna tell the story. So you got a text from me about what time did you get this text message?
which one? Because I got a couple.
No, you got the eyeball text emoji at about
Oh, yeah, that was earlier this afternoon for
you
sure.
got something.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, and when I send them eyeballs out, it's go time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I sent the eyeball text out and yeah, it did. It did. It did. It definitely did. But we gonna, you know what I mean? We
Oh,
gonna
that's
get
a,
to
that's a new dude, right? Omandes?
yeah.
Welcome to the chat, bro.
Welcome, man. And so I'll say this. So you got the eyeball text, and I said to you at the end, the last text I sent you, watch the trade market. Something's brewing. I don't have specifics, but something's going down.
Mm-hmm.
What I had was the makings of this. Now I'm gonna be honest. I didn't hear nothing about this till last night. This has been finalized since Friday. They have waited for Brandon Nimmo to waive his no trade to decide to go to Texas. I'm going to say it again. If you have not been paying attention to what David Stearns, the president of baseball operations, has been trying to tell you, he's been trying to tell you without saying it. Yo, run prevention is a thing I want to shore up, and I'm not going to be the nice guy that does it the way you want. What I'm gonna do is gonna hurt some folks. Okay? David Stearns clearly ain't here to make friends. And neither is Steve Cohen, because Steve Cohen signed off on the deal. So for all the sentimental Met fans that believe, oh, but Alonso and Diaz got a shot to come at, that dream just died. Because when you trade a Met like Brandon Nimmo for a 35-year-old offensively declining second baseman, now granted, defensively, he is still one of them. We understand this. But when you make this move and you do it in such a cold, calculated, non-emotional way, can now y'all start to listen to me when I tell y'all they both gone and you gonna have to live with that reality?
They're feeling it. I know they are. Because listen, while it is already finalized, right? This isn't
Yes.
just any Met, right? Brandon Nimmo, he was the longest tenured Met on the roster. So I know if you're a Mets fan, shout out to you Amandus right now. But I can tell by the name, it seems like you're a Mets fan. This could be something that I'm sure maybe you and other Mets fans are feeling right now.
Right.
It's not easy.
Listen, Steve, he told you the truth. Stearns told you the truth. Yo, I'm coming in here and we got work to do. This ain't one of those things where this is gonna be easy, fly by night, let's have some fun. I'm coming here to win a championship and I'm gonna do it my way.
I'm gonna be honest, and I shared this with you briefly. Armand is your name. Okay, got
Armand,
you. We'll
there
keep
you
that in
go.
mind.
Thank you, brother.
I want to share with you guys how I felt initially, right? And I told you this earlier, Stefan. Like, listen, at first, when I had saw you share the news with me, right away, my first instinct was the Rangers won this deal. Brandon Nimmo, while I understand he may not be worth what's remaining on the contract over the next few years,
For
because
sure.
he himself is declining, especially, when it comes to on base. He's not big on base anymore. The defense, you mentioned Marcus Semien being a better defender at second base. So it makes sense, right? Especially when you keep in mind, as you mentioned, and it's funny we're talking about this because earlier today, the clip that I put out on social media was David Stearns talking about run prevention. And when you consider defense and who knows what else they're going to do, right?
Yep.
That's right along the lines of what he said just a couple months ago.
And the thing is, listen, everybody says, look at his offense, look at Simeon's offensive numbers, they're declining. This is true. But you don't believe Steve Cohen and David Stearns are not going to spend on offense, do you? They're going to spend on offense. The Mets are far from a finished product. But let me just help you understand, right? Well, you might retort to me, or you might tell me in response, well, doesn't Pete Alonso provide you the type of offense you're looking for? Yes. Here's the problem, though. When Pete Alonso turns 34, 33, 34, 35 years old, those are his DH days. When you got to DH him, you know what that means? That means you got to keep Juan Soto in right field for an ungodly amount of years. Juan Soto's bad in right field now.
Right.
Imagine Juan Soto in 5 years from now. So while I understand it, he should bring back Cohen, and I'm sorry, this just doesn't work, right? And I think what David Stearns is trying to tell you is, you know what? I'm not here. I'm here to tell you what I set out to do. We're going to stop runs. We're going to be better defensively. I'm going to do some stuff that's going to piss y'all off, but we might actually be a winner. Because for all the criticism that we've given David Stearns, if you look at that Milwaukee Brewer team, he built that.
Right.
Now, Matt Arnold, the president of baseball operations now that took over for him, he's done an exceptional job at keeping up to the tradition, as we like to say.
Yeah.
But Stearns built that. So why can't Stearns build this? My only thought about this trade is this, right? If Simeon's declining this rapidly offensively, how many years of good defense you think he got left before that declines too?
Exactly, right?
And he still got 3 years at like $72 million left. We talking about a lot of money still left on this deal with 3 years left.
And I hate to say this too, right? I don't want to stuff like this into existence.
Right.
But with him turning 36 years old next season, who's to say that he's not an injury away from still being that good defender,
That's the thing you got to worry about too. And also, what it also tells me is that one of two players are out the door for sure. Vientos and Beatty are next. Vientos, Beatty, and McNeil.
McNeil for sure. I could see that, yeah.
See, but the problem is, who wants Jeff McNeil at this point in his career?
I know, right? And he also doesn't hit for average as he did once upon a time.
Right. So I also think this trade helps them now in the baseball sense. It helps the Mets now defensively in the baseball sense, but it also gives them a little bit of payroll flexibility. Because as I showed you in the picture that I sent you before tonight's show, they gain about $30 million in revenue from this. Like they can spend $30 million other places. Now, it just came out. I just read an article by Tim Satman in The Athletic where he talked about the sticking point of these negotiations is the fact that they don't want to give Diaz a 5-year deal.
Really? Wow.
They'll be more comfortable with a 3-year deal. So if that's the case and you already having sticking points in these negotiations, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Edwin Diaz is going to be pitching somewhere else besides Queens this season.
First of all, listen, because we have Mets fans here watching us right now. Shout out to the Mets fans inside the chat right now. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now, by the way. But, I wonder, what this could feel like as a Mets fan, right? Nimmo's already gone. You're
Pain.
on the verge of losing either Diaz and Alonso or both, as Stefan likes to say, right? How do you guys feel? Like, who would have thought that you were going to go 0 for 3 this offseason with your own guys?
But it also tells me that there's a little bit of arrogance to David Stearns, right? There's a little bit of arrogance in terms of he thinks the sun rises and sets on how he does business. So we're going to see now what type of team you put on the field. Because you talking hot, as the kids like to say. Run prevention is the word of the offseason for y'all. If this team does not lead the league in defensive run saves next season, because I'm going to keep track of this, I'm coming on here and I'm roasting y'all.
Well, I want to see that. You're right, Stefan. But in addition to that, I know just a couple minutes ago you spoke about the fact that, while there is a difference in age, especially in terms of what you're getting in return when it comes to Semien, the Mets are saving here. Now, here's the thing. When you have an owner like Steve Cohen, I don't think saving should ever be, in the same sentence of his name. I'd like to see what they look like defensively, one, as you mentioned, next season, but also what are you about to do with the money that you saved?
And then Carson Benz is a name that we've been hearing with the Mets. He's one of their top outfield prospects. They would expect him to be in the big leagues in 2026, which is all fine and dandy.
I don't think the fans want to hear that. Bro,
however, right, with Cody Bellinger sitting out there and Kyle Tucker sitting out there and all those options sitting out there, Carson Benz better not be your only outfield addition. What this shows to me is that there's going to be other moves made. There's going to be other signings, other transactions made. And while we may not be ready for what comes, because I don't know what's coming, I don't think anybody does, but I do have an idea that I think Cody Bellinger is back in play for them. I think it's somebody that they really are going to pursue. I don't know if Cody wants to play for the Mets. I don't know what his designs are in this free agency. Maybe it's, let's see if the Yankees could get me to 7 years. If they get me there, I'll stay with the Yankees. Or maybe it's like, let me get the last big deal I can. Because you remember, Cody Bellinger is coming off of, outside of this year, he was coming off of 2 down years in a row where even in Chicago, he didn't put up the kind of numbers that he thought he was going to. And then after he left the Dodgers, he hasn't been the same player. So he kind of had a resurgence at Yankee Stadium, pull power, left-handed bat, short porch. Now, he's always been elite defensively. We know that. But can the Mets do it again, prying another key cog from the Yankees? And does Steve Cohen even want to spend that kind of money at this point?
Listen, I kind of think you have to. And the reason why I think they have to is because of this. While you are getting rid of Nimmo to get better defensively, as we've already said, you're now taking a step back offensively. Because at this point in their careers, Brandon Nimmo is a better hitter compared to Semien. But, again, run prevention, all right, you win, I guess, from that standpoint. But if Pete Alonso is also on the verge of departing as well, how are you replacing the offense there? I got to see something else.
So that's the thing. That's where I'm interested to see what Texas does from this standpoint. Because you just told Adolis Garcia, we don't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
You told Jonah Heim the same thing, right? Texas has been telling teams we're gonna shed payroll. They took on payroll with this deal. Brandon Nimmo still has 5 years left at $100 million left on this deal.
Yeah, till 2030.
so much for shedding payroll because you didn't shed payroll. Listen, at the end of the day, I think what we have to come to grips with is that this was a thing that both teams felt like they needed to do.
Right.
Now, most Met fans hate the trade. I texted with some family members tonight who are sick. They are sick. They're like, this is bullish. I hate this.
You know what's crazy too? Now, I know across the board, Nimmo isn't the same guy he once was offensively.
Yes.
But this past season in 25, it was a career year in home runs and RBIs for him, bro.
He was really good for them. And at some point, he almost carried the offense when, Alonso was struggling, Lindor was struggling. He had a stretch there where in the middle of, I think it was like July, he got hotter than fish grease and kind of carried them. And I'm just like, This trade, there has to be something bigger coming behind the trade. There has to be a reason why you made the trade, because to me, one move in a vacuum, if you put this one move on the board, singular, and says this is one move, there has to be something that comes behind it. That's
Right.
why I believe they're gonna go big game hunting. Like, I believe Stephen Kwan's now in play for them. Okay, Stephen Kwan's another guy that could be in play for them.
Really
I
good defender, by the
I
way. Just
I
saying.
I also think that they may go the route of seeing what outfielders on other teams may be available. If there is an outfielder available, maybe they'll go that route. But what it says to me is that David Stearns has a clear cut, decisive vision of what he wants this to be. Now, the question is, does it work out, or do you have to go back to the drawing board? And I'll say this for the record. If it comes out that Steve Cohen overstepped to either bring back Alonso or Diaz, this trade was made for no reason. If you were telling me that we're going to go into run prevention mode, we're going to go into playing baseball, not the old school way, but we're going to modify the way we do things. If Pete Alonso's back with the Mets, this trade made no sense to me. Because Pete Alonso doesn't get you better defensively.
So let me ask you this, Stephen, because while I do agree with you, and while we, again, friendly reminder, we got some Mets fans, some new folks here in the building with us tonight. I've seen some comments over the past couple of days, on social media where Mets fans said the bare minimum was bringing back Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso all along. Why are we even, contemplating it? What do you say to those fans,
What I say to those fans is, here's a slap in your face, and here's the reality you deal with. Because they just traded your mans.
Right.
Your mans. Your ace Boone Coon just got dealt.
Yeah, who was, again, as I mentioned earlier, who has been here for the longest.
Your mans. The people that they were saying defer, like they were calling him de facto captain out here in these Met streets. Yo, Met fans, Twitter is a very, very, very dangerous place right now. They'll go in there talking spicy. They're emotional. They will bite your head off. They ain't playing with y'all. And listen, for everybody that says this was a smart baseball trade, there will be a time and a place for that. However, we have to let this fan base go through the emotions of processing what they've been through.
Then, as you mentioned, this could only be the beginning, right?
And
There's
you
more
know
to
what?
come.
This reminds me of a video I made where the video is entitled "The Met Fans Are the Middle Finger of Baseball." Well, I basically broke down the history of how they dealt their own players. Darryl Strawberry ended ugly. Tom Seaver ended ugly. This right here, this feels like it's ending ugly, right? You didn't see it through. The longest tenure Met did not see this through, and you just gonna end it like this? That's ending it ugly, yo.
And it also felt like he was a part of that core, right?
Yes.
Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, even before Juan Soto arrived, right? Because, listen, while we know who he is, he's still, the new kid on the block, so to say.
Yeah, and the sad part is that, look, man, I just feel like there was a better way to do this. If you were going to do this, you should have at least... Marcus Semien ain't the dude you get back.
Yeah, that was the thing I was telling you too. Like, okay, I understand why you don't want to pay Nimmo what he's owed, especially as he gets into his mid to late 30s. But at the same time, I kind of
you just traded for a guy that's in his mid to late, that's about to be in his mid to late 30s.
Right, who's less productive. I kind of thought they should have gotten more in return.
At this point, yo, dog, you talking about a guy with 5 years left of control and the contract's barely over $100 million? Nah, if I take on Semien, I want something of significance back. Yo, Romeo Langford, Jack Leiter.
It's funny you're saying that because that was something I wanted to ask you. Did it surprise you at all? And Mets fans, again, share your comments. Did it surprise you at all that this trade was straight up, 1-for-1?
Stunned me.
Wow.
Stunned me. Nothing in this game, nothing, ever stuns me anymore. I'm immune to it because I've seen so much stuff that it's like, I get it. but you ain't even get back a prospect. You
Right.
ain't get back nothing of future value. All you did was save $30 million. That you didn't get nothing back of value. Listen, how do you expect Met fans to be all in on this deal when all you're looking at is 35-year-old Marcus Semien and you're wondering, God damn, that's it? That's it? So if this is the way the offseason is starting, what does the rest of this look like?
Right. Right.
That's nasty. That's nasty work. And listen,
I think what's coming next has to be something of significance,
it,
because you can't just do this and not follow suit with something that's pretty
I
big.
agree. And what I'll say is, for the record, like, yo, the significance cannot be Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I agree. No, he's not the answer. He's not.
If you bring him back, he got to be packaged with something else. It can't just be Pete Alonso standing there holding up his jersey going, "Hey guys, I'm back." Because what did you do this for?
I agree. Bringing back Pete Alonso can no longer be viewed as like this huge deal. I don't really
Nah.
see it as that. Yeah.
And honestly, it may be, like I said to start the show, this goes to the point of Pete Alonso was never coming back. And maybe this is the nail in that final coffin that lets you know I ain't coming back. And notice, I'm going to say this. I'm gonna put us in the time machine, Ivan. You remember all last offseason what I said? Stearns don't want him back. Who got on the plane, flew to Florida, and got the deal done? Cohen.
King Cohen, as they call him.
He got the deal done.
Right.
Right? Like right before spring training, couple days before, I remember telling y'all, yo, he's about to go meet with him. It's going to happen. He's going to be a Met. Know what I'm saying? Cohen got that done. It wasn't Stearns. Stearns has no intention of bringing Pete Alonso back at all. Which leads me to my next question of, who's your first baseman next year? Josh Naylor is in Seattle. Is it going to be Mark Vientos? Are we doing this Mark Vientos? Does that make sense for us? Okay. Is it going to be, are we really going to trust one of these young kids, Ryan Clifford, to come up and play first base for you next year? Maybe. Who is the first base option for you? Right? Who's the guy that you say, all right, maybe this works? Do you trade for for Christian Walker in Houston? Don't know if that makes you better. Kind of the same player as Pete Alonso, although Pete Alonso is a better offensive player at this point in his career, but kind of do the same thing. Home runs, high strikeout.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, if they do not walk away, and I'm being for real, if you do not walk away with something that I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming. If I'm a Met fan, I'm kind of upset. I'm kind of like, if we're not sitting here talking about, let's have it. And you know why the Mets kind of blew this? Right? Because their plan, and I believe their plan from the beginning was, yo, we're going to throw all the money we can at Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We're going to let Pete Alonso play out this last year as a Met. And we're going to throw all the money at Vladdy. When Vladdy turned around and told you, hell no, you got caught with your pants down around your ankles. Like,
yeah, it blew up right in front of their face.
You didn't know what you were doing, right?
And he actually made it to the World Series with the team that he decided to stay with. Oh, man, even better,
Listen, so you could move Beatty to first, as Armand is saying. Like, okay, now you got to pay a third base. Now you got to pay somebody to play third.
What I'm curious to know, right? Because obviously the Mets now have to fill a spot in the outfield,
and they got to figure out that pitching staff too. They got work to do, man.
I'm only, what I'm saying now is in reference to the offense. But of course, the pitching that was the huge letdown in the second half.
For sure,
so good point. But you have a hole now in the outfield that you have to plug in. You still have to worry about first base.
Mm-hmm.
And Armand even mentioned something important now too, third base. Like, what are you doing there? So I wonder, with the move that we are now anticipating for the Mets to make, I wonder, is it going to be for an outfielder, a first baseman, or a third baseman?
So my best guess is that you're gonna hear the name Alex Bregman connected more to the Mets. I don't know if they do that, but that's gonna be a name that I think you start to hear connected to them. I don't know how deep those connections may run, but you're gonna hear the connections there. Another name that I'm telling you, I could hear now is Eugenio Suarez that was just with Seattle,
Interesting.
and it's not to play third, it's to play first, and it's to replicate what Pete Alonso didn't give you, left you with offensively. Maybe that's one name that you're gonna hear connected to them.
See, but if you like you said, if you do that, and because they have so many similarities, isn't that the equivalent of bringing back Pete Alonso, but just for less?
It's cutting off your nose to spite your face, but you gotta understand, Met fans ain't just gonna let you just throw out Vientos and tell them, "Hey, have a good time." They're not letting you do that, and I agree, Armand. I'm just trying to give you uh, a really defined idea of what they can do. They're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
They're screwed. Right now, they're screwed.
For 2026, they're screwed.
You know what? I'm wondering. Maybe they go sign Murakami.
That's interesting.
Put Murakami at first base. Let Beatty play third. Trey Vientos for some pitching. Because right now, if you told me that the Mets rotation this season is a combination of Freddie Peralta, they're gonna trade Singer.
Right. Oh yeah, that's another guy who I heard is on the block
They're
too.
gonna trade Singer, right? So if I told you, I think the Met rotation is probably, they're gonna trade for somebody. They might trade for somebody, but I also think they might sign a Christopher Sanchez. They might sign Framber Valdez to give them legitimate rotation options. Now the question is, Helsley's gone. Helsley is now looking to become a starting pitcher.
Yeah, I read that earlier today. I was like, what the hell is going on, bro?
And so
even Luke Weaver, I read too. Like Luke Weaver, I heard he's open to like becoming a starter. What does everybody think they can become Clay Holmes now?
You know why? Because you make more money if you're a starter.
Right. And you also know what it is too. And I understand why moves like that, going from a reliever to a starter now, make more sense than ever. Mm-hmm. And it's because, let's be honest, bro, you only got to go 4 to 5 innings anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't got to go 7, 8 innings strong. That's not what teams are expecting out of guys.
This is a good point. He did come up as a starter. I remember that. Yes.
Right.
When he was with Arizona, I believe, right, Armand? I think he started out with Arizona. He came up as a starter. Then, matter of fact, I think he started in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. He was in their system. And then, hey, Sonny Gray's another name that might be able to give them innings. He's up in age, but he's a veteran starter. That might be what you're looking for. Like, and listen, I think Ime is another guy that they're looking at. The young Japanese dude that's like 27 that everybody's in love with. He may be an option for them at this point. But I wonder, and I'm saying this out loud, and maybe the chat can help me and you can help me as well. I wonder if them going back into the Japanese market for some starting pitching, if they become gun shy. Because Senga hasn't been that consistent for them, and he's been often hurt. Do they go back into the Japanese market and say, let's try this again, even though the last time we tried it really didn't work out?
I mean, they came close to the Yamamoto deal. It was just that Yamamoto wanted to be a Dodger all along, and I think he kind of like just used the Mets for leverage.
And the Yankees too.
Right.
Yeah, I think, but Rick with an interesting comment. Let's see what he says. Mets don't get it. I don't think any Met fan should be confident in this team's approach. Everything to everything. They do things because they can, not because they should. Wow, Razor off the top rope coming in hot. I like that.
Interesting.
So, and also, like, not to be the guy that says this, because I usually don't care for the, like, not that I don't care, but I see more of the business side. You know what I'm saying? I I see more of like the business, and I don't really see the fan side of it because I don't believe in emotional attachments until you win a championship.
Oh, we know that about you. I've known that about you for years now,
I'm
bro.
just cold. I don't care. Listen,
I hear you say things sometimes. I'm like, damn, where's the feeling, bro? Not even a little bit.
there ain't, because this move right here tonight shows you why I act like that.
It's all business, like you say all along, right? I feel you.
When you sit here and talk about, yo, you know what? But fan favorite, fan favorite, fan favorite. Yo, what you mean fan favorite? I don't care nothing about your fan favorites. They just traded your mans and didn't feel no type of way. There wasn't no thank you, Brandon post. They got your mans up out of here and was like, all right, yo, moving on. What? It's business to these folks.
I've got a serious question. Is it safe to say that the Mets, now I know, regardless of how you feel when it comes to them, shipping Nimmo now to Texas, regardless of that, is it safe to say that the Mets should or maybe will have one of the busiest off seasons?
They're ready. They're here already.
They have to, right?
You better. I swear, bro.
You sound like a Mets fan.
Woo! I swear to you right now, if they stop here, nobody should go to Citi Field for the next 3 seasons. You cannot stop here. And you cannot pull the wool over my eyes and tell me, well, we just try to get better for 2026. You have Marcus Semien signed under contract till he is 37 years old. Where are you getting better? You're getting older, but you ain't getting better.
Right.
Look, I'm at the point now where when you go halfway, you get halfway results. Oh, but we can't tear it all the way down. Our owner's the richest owner. We got to spend money. Who would have thought that signing Juan Soto would create more questions and more complications for this organization than they ever intended it would?
In just 1 year, too, right?
In just 1 year. Now, here's the other thing that nobody wants to talk about. Here's a little dirty secret and nobody wants to talk about. We're going to get you your comments in a second. You know why it's a dirty game? Because I think the Mets, I'm not talking about their fans, the Mets themselves, they know, you know what? It doesn't matter what we do. Because deep down inside, the moment we signed Juan Soto, we signed our own death sentence.
Damn.
Because tell me where, right? Tell me where signing Juan Soto right now, looking back on it in 2020 hindsight, and I fully understand this is 2020 hindsight. This is me having the full luxury of a year, having the full luxury of seeing how the season ended. This might be the biggest regret in the history of the franchise.
Right.
Because now you can't play those kids. You can't play those kids. You listen, and I know Rick brought up a point earlier when we spoke, when he mentioned the young fella, Carson Bench. You think Juan Soto wants to see a young fella in center field beside him? No, get me a proven star. I've been here. I'm not here with the play with y'all young folk. Lindor ain't here to play with y'all young folk.
These guys are trying to win, right?
You better bring me some proven stars in here.
You know what's the thing that worries me with the Mets right now? And we still, again, we're emphasizing we have to see what comes next, right? Because that's very important when it comes to the 2026 Mets and even beyond that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there comes a point where, and even if it wasn't the Mets, the Mets just happen to be the topic of what I'm about to get into. Yeah.
I want to touch the Texas side of this too, because the Texas side of this is kind of baffling as well. But go ahead.
Had it been any other team, I just think the Mets have too many holes to fill. You got to find a starter. You got to find out, who's playing the outfield now where Nimmo was playing all along. You got to figure out first base. And while I think they're going to come up with their version of a solution for all of those things, I don't think they're all going to hit, if that makes sense.
I agree with you, right? Like, this is where I think Stearns is going to do the smartest dude in the room type of thing, right? Where he'll trade for Peralta because he knows Freddie. Came up with Freddie in Milwaukee, so trade for Freddie.
That would be
solves
interesting.
that starter problem. Now, first base, you know what we do? Just call up Brian Clifford. Let him play first base. We'll put Benj in the outfield, right? Like, I could see them going with the youth movement. Here's the problem when you go with the youth movement. Lindor, Soto, and the dudes that are here to win, they don't want to hear nothing about your youth movement. Go get me players now, dog. This is why I believe either they're stupider than I'm giving them credit for, because they have to know, yo, there's a trade, there's something in the pipeline somewhere we got that we know this player is going to sign with us. Or we have an inclination or an idea that this is going to make us better. Because if you did this with no plan, with no type of net, and you just made this trade for the sake of making a trade because you felt like you needed to solve an issue, you guys are penny wise and pound foolish. Because what do I like to say, Ivan? What is my saying? You know what the saying is. You got to be strong where? You got to be strong in center field. You got to be strong at shortstop. And you got to be strong at the catcher position.
Right, right.
They're not strong at any three of those positions right now.
Well, only shortstop. You don't like Lindor?
Even not now, no.
Damn. I'm a little biased. I'm a Lindor fan. I like Lindor a lot.
I'm just talking about,
and I also like how he bounced back after, when he first got there. It was like, damn, are you even getting like the Lindor who played back in Cleveland?
No, yeah, but I'm talking about as he ages. That aging process is not going to be easy on him, easy on you, easy on there's a lot that goes into this. Oh, not to mention there's a lockout coming next year. Cause I'd be lying to you, bro, if I wasn't sitting here and I wasn't thinking, oh, damn, there's a lockout coming next year. They trying to get ready for whatever comes. Yo, let's have money freed up just in case something falls on our lap. Let's have a position freed up. Let's do something to free us up, not monetarily. Get a younger center fielder in. They got to be thinking of a way, right? Because as Armand points out, CBA, as we all know, December 1st, 2026, expiration. You got to believe that there is, and I'm going to tell you one name right now. If this is the solution to your problems, I'm going to crash out on this very show. Because I've been hearing this person's name connected to them for years now. If you're telling me Luis Robert is your solution to this center field problem, we gonna have to have a family intervention, bro. Like, somebody got to pull out a virtual couch, and some Met fans, you got to lay down. We got to talk. We got to talk, bro.
That would be unfortunate, actually, if it happens now.
I got to talk to y'all.
Because you've been talking about a move like that now for a couple of seasons, and it still hasn't happened. So
here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. Well, they're like, oh, but what if we take a shot at Byron Buxton? Okay, you can.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention his name in the chat, yeah.
You can. But
it's also important to keep in mind Byron Buxton is very injury prone. Like,
he is.
He's like the closest thing made out of glass. And
how many years? I think he still has like what, 4 years left on 3 or 4 years left on his contract. There's still multiple years there. Probably 3, if I had to guess.
Byron Buxton, he's got 3 years left. Yeah.
Shit, why don't we just put together the Scotch tape team?
I mean, 3 years for $15 million ain't all that bad though.
Okay, so if you're gonna do Buxton for 3 years, $15 million, I get that. But be prepared. He's gonna miss a month with a hamstring injury or running into the wall or doing some foolishness.
That's the problem. Like, the moment you mentioned it, and he had a hell of a season last year. Hence why he finally made it to the All-Star game.
And he still missed like
how long we've been talking about Byron Buxton just trying to get healthy. You know
How
how
many
long it took?
How many games he played last year?
I don't know. Maybe like 130 or something.
Let's do the
Let's see.
math. Just last year. I'm just looking at last year.
Yeah, let's see. Last year, Byron Buxton played 126.
So out of a possible 162 games, your man still missed how many games?
About 40 games, close to.
He still missed 40 games. And that's with him having a good year.
That's more than a month.
So if you just traded Nimmo, oh man, you know why I'm laughing? Because even the Band-Aid solutions are terrible, right? Like even the scenarios in which you point out, yo, this could be possible. Now, here's one thing that might change this. If you go get Jalen Duran, I'll feel different about this whole situation.
That wouldn't be bad, yeah.
If you trade for Jaren Duran in Boston, I might take back all the mean things I said, and David Stearns might be the most gangsterish general manager. I didn't respect his gangster.
That would be a nice way to counter, yeah.
If Jaren Duran is your answer to, yo, you know what? Brandon Nimmo, you're a nice player, but you ain't him. That's him. Him right there. That's him over there. If you could get Jalen Duran to play center field, okay, now I feel better about things. Because
you think the Red Sox probably asked the Mets to come off of one of those pitchers we saw come up last season? This past season?
Yeah, probably. And I think the answer would probably be Jonah Tong.
Yeah.
You could probably make it happen for maybe Jonah Tong and well, you know, yeah, they could put a package together. Because Cedar Rafael is their center fielder. Straight up. He's their center fielder. He just is. Roman can play some center field. Roman Anthony. Like, they got 3 center fielders in Boston. They got an embarrassment of riches. Willie Abreu's more of a right fielder. He's not a center fielder, Armand, so I don't necessarily love that. He's more of a corner guy.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me it's Jalen Duran, it's whoever you got left and Soto and right, that's not bad.
I wanna highlight Michael's comment here. He says that it will probably be Harrison Bader back in center field.
It's not going to be Harrison Bader back in center field.
You know, I will say, though, the reason why I wanted to highlight this was because, you know, Harrison Bader does fit that whole
what
run
they need.
prevention thing. Yeah.
Yeah, what they need. Yeah.
Again, it's still taking a step back offensively.
The reason why I would give Jalen Duran the shot is because I think Jalen Duran has a little bit more upside defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think you could play it where they're probably better with Duran in center field. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, I think the Red Sox trade him.
Yeah, I've been hearing his name. I remember since
the trade deadline last year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember. I thought at one point he was probably going to the Padres. That didn't happen. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing. This Fernando Tatis piece of this is interesting because
you think the Mets enter that conversation now?
I think you have to.
Wow.
I think you have to, and the reason why I think you have to is because he solves 2 problems. The offense being left behind by Pete Alonso, he can fill those shoes. Defensively, he's a upgrade in right field.
Yeah, he's one of the best defenders in baseball, period. I think he's won a platinum glove before.
So, like, that right there solves your issues, right? Question is, how far do the Padres want to go with the supposed teardown? Because the team is being sold.
I'm giving them till the deadline. I think it happens.
It has to happen this winter. You can't wait till the trade deadline.
Or that too. Or that. I wouldn't be mad at that.
The reason why I'm telling you can't wait till the trade deadline is because I'm going to say this again. People always say make trades at the deadline. Make trades at the deadline. Make trades at the deadline. It's harder to make trades at the trade deadline. It just is. Because people are trying to get value back for the players they give up, and they're trying to make sure they win the trade. right now would be the perfect time uh for David Stearns, to pick up the phone, call AJ Preller, and be like, "Hey man, what is it gonna take?" They were ranked the number one farm system in baseball for a reason. What is it going to take? What do you want? Well, how does the conversation start? And the Padres, are looking to rebuild the system because they traded everything under the sun the last 3 years.
Right.
They got to rebuild their farm system.
And they're also trying to make things, look a little pretty for the next ownership,
Right, which is why two teams to watch as we get closer to the winter meetings and Thanksgiving. By the way, Little Birdie has me feeling like this won't be the last time you see us before Thanksgiving. You will see us again in the next 48 to 72 hours. You will see us
Hopefully,
again.
it would be nice.
You know why you're going to see us again? Because the vibe I keep getting from people, right, is, this is about to be one of the craziest weeks in the industry. This is about to be bananas. They're going to go crazy. There's going to be more trades. This is going to be unpredictable. I told you. What have I been saying for the last month since the season ended? We looking at one of the craziest off seasons I've ever covered. The unpredictability is, you know why? Because there's so much volatility in the free agent market, especially on the pitching side. Like Michael King, people like Michael King. Third starter. Dylan Cease, not healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm gonna tell you, I just think that there is there's too much going on for it to just not for it to stretch out like this. Because there isn't a big market free agent that's clogging this. Kyle Tucker's not Juan Soto. Neither is whoever else. Neither is Cody Bellinger. I expect both of these players to be relatively done before we even get to Christmas.
What I do like more about this offseason is, and no shade to any player who was a free agent last offseason, but I think this offseason, there's a lot more to offer. You've got pitching available. If you need a bat, as you mentioned, Stephen, Kyle Tucker's available, Cody Bellinger's available, Pete Alonso's available. You got relievers, you got Diaz available. What's this guy who was last pitching for the Padres as well? Suarez is available out of the bullpen. There's a lot available for teams who are in need, Thoughts and I'm talking about everything.
Thoughts on Bill Madden claiming they aren't in on Tatis or Tucker? Well, Bill Madden needs to take a poop with his pants on and put his head down and go to sleep. Go to sleep. Because you're another Scott Boras carry the water plant. Go to bed. Take your nighttime pills. This grown folk business. Your sources are outsourced.
Damn.
And you know why I'm saying this with such conviction and such straightforwardness? Is because these other people, this is the reason why this show right here needed to exist. Because you have reporters who have quote unquote sources who tell you, oh, they're out. First of all, here's the problem with that. Number one, that's a violation of CBA rules. A team cannot say publicly that they aren't in on a player because it affects the market. That's number one. The reason why that's an erroneous report by Bill Madden is because you're doing damage to the market and you're hurting the player's value. Number two, it'd be foolish for the Yankees or the Mets not to be in on either one of those players, at least to get his price point to the level where he feels like he can get paid.
He said that about both New York teams?
Yes.
Wow.
And the reason why I find it laughable is because, dog, we have to come to a point where these reporters, we got to stop. Mm-hmm. We got to stop because at some point you're going to say something and it's going to damage, you're going to damage your reputation if it's not damaged already. You got to stop this. And when I come out sometimes and beat my chest and act like I told y'all so, this is the reason why. Because Ivan, as long as you know me, hand to God, I need a true statement from you right now. I've never went out on a limb if I didn't have something of value. I've never said, I think this happens, and then the complete opposite ended up happening. It may change, But the variance of what I told you is right there.
Right. That something is gonna happen. Yeah.
So what I'm telling you now is that the Mets and the Yankees, more so the Mets right now, they're going to explore every option, whether it's a trade, whether it's signing someone. They're going to do their homework and they're going to do their due diligence, right? Fernando Tatis is a name that both New York teams want. If I had a preference, I would say Fernando probably ends up with the Mets just because I think the Mets have the farm system to make the trade. But this is a big time but. But I want to add this. Don't be surprised if the Yankees pull off the trade.
Right. And I also feel like it'll be more electric if he ended up in the Bronx too, you know.
Why
No
do I-
shade to Mets fans, but just saying.
Why do I think that the Yankees might have a better shot to pull off the trade? Because Brian Cashman has done a deal with AJ Preller in the past for Juan Soto.
True. Yeah.
They've worked together. General managers are like, I'm going to say this, you're going to laugh. They're like, yeah, I mean partners. Once we done did it once and it's good, we're going to do it again.
Right.
Look, man, okay, he tweeted, denying Mets content creators post saying Tucker. Well, like I said, take a poop with your pants on. And I don't mean to have this be the call out reporter session, but I don't like none of y'all because you make my job harder. So John Heyman, this next shot's for you.
What did John Heyman say or do?
Coming out on MLB Network saying, I don't see the Yankees or the Mets in on Kyle Tucker. I think that's more of a... What? What are you saying? What are you saying? Stop. You think Scott Boras did not call John Heyman and say, yo, John, what are you doing, dog?
Right. We need those guys at least.
Even if they don't sign them, we need them to act like they are going to sign them.
Right. They could come sit at the table. They got a spot.
Forget sit at the table. They are the damn table.
Yeah.
Without them, there ain't no table. All I'm saying is I get things wrong. We all get things wrong. Like, we all get things wrong. I get it. I understand it. I've gotten things wrong. You've know I gotten things wrong. I've come on here and said, yo, I've gotten things wrong. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you with damn near certainty, the Yankees and Mets are going to be in on both these players. To the degree in which they're in remains to be seen.
Right.
By the way, when Brian Cashman did what he does when he sleeps outside, that's such a noble like, it's noble. Like, he's doing it for teenagers who are homeless and kids that they don't know where they're going to sleep at night.
I respect it. He's been doing it for years.
He does it for a good cause. So can we, like, I know the memes are funny of him sleeping outside, sleeping on the job, doesn't get it.
I didn't even know they were coming for him.
They've been coming for him for years.
Damn.
By the way, so he said the night he slept outside, I spoke with Casey Close. Casey Close is Kyle Tucker's agent. Okay. I spoke with Scott Boras about Cody. This is our former player. We want him back. I've had conversation. We've talked. Let's not act like we haven't spoken because we've spoken. I've talked to all teams and all agents and everybody that needed to be accounted for has been accounted for. So if everybody says the Yankees aren't in, then that's bullshit.
Or for the Mets as well, right?
They're in. All these general managers. You don't think Scott Boras went up to Stearns and Cohen at the GM meetings going, yeah, how much you like a little talker at your service? I'm hearing you having a little bit of an outfield problem. You can fool whoever you want. You can't fool me. You know why? And I'll say this in closing as my parting shot. You my witness to this. You can even tell a story right here if you want to. You have full permission. I've broken enough big stories where they can't play with me. I've broken enough big stories that even you, to a man, have been like, yo, I don't know how you got that, but goddamn, that's crazy. Don't play with me. And don't play with this channel either. All you dudes on all these socials, oh, they just talking. All right. You gonna see.
By the way, I know we have a couple of new folks here. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Seems like some of you did stick around, and I think it's safe to say you guys rock with us. So, feel free to hit that subscribe.
For sure. I'm just letting you know, like, we do this, right? Blake Snell. Remember when we called Blake Snell 48 hours before Blake Snell signed with the Giants, and everybody,
Yeah.
we don't play. I'm not playing with y'all.
We also did Juan Soto to the Mets long before we even knew he was going to the Mets. Yeah.
We not playing with y'all.
Yeah.
What the kids say? Mess around and find out? It's find out time.
I mean, the off season is the perfect time for that, right? So
it's find
make sure
out
you
time.
guys stick around.
I ain't playing with y'all.
That's funny, bro.
You laugh because I'm serious.
Yeah, no, we have our conversations, and I guess it's just a matter of time before we start to get the respect that I would say we deserve.
It's not even the respect. It's just what happened to journalism. It's not about being first. It's about being accurate.
True. I think a lot of people now today more than ever, they care about being the first to break something, not knowing that when you're the first to break something, you could sometimes still miss out on important information.
Listen, right. And what I told you is the reason why I don't play with this and I get real defensive about this, you talking about kids, you talking about people's families and livelihoods and the way they do business. Why you playing with these folks, man? That's a lot of money you putting out there. And then you playing with these fan bases too. Why you playing with them like that for, man? Arson Judge. John Heyman should have hung up his reporting clipboard right then and there. Yo, go home. Mm-hmm. Leave the meetings, go home, take a melatonin, go to bed.
Arson Judge? Got to proofread.
Are you kidding me? And I get things wrong because I type fast.
Yeah.
But Arson Judge?
Mm-hmm.
And then Yankee Twitter was damn near about to have a conniption. They were about to bomb Yankee Stadium. I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
Why you playing with these fan bases, man? Stop with the foolishness. Oh, can Kyle Tucker return to Houston? Can he go here? Can he come back to the Cubs? No.
He ain't going back to Houston.
He's not going back to Houston. He's not going back to the Cubs either. He's sitting at the big boy table with some Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, and maybe Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Stop playing with these folks, man. Throwing out teams because you want to be cute. Oh, Kyle Tucker can be a shot for the Baltimore Orioles. What?
Or the Blue Jays too, right? We've talked about that.
Now, the Blue Jays I could buy. The Blue Jays I buy because they spent money and I respect it. I ain't mad at it. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But you going to tell me Kyle Tucker's going to sign with the Baltimore Orioles?
No chance in hell.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. Speaking of good night, this show was fun. Show's now over. Hit the thumbs up. Holla at your boys. We'll see y'all. And I'm being serious when I say I'm hearing stuff is about to get crazy, bro. So I'm away. I'm gonna be away. I leave Tuesday. So if you get a random hit up from me that says, "All right, bro, I'm on the train, but hearing stuff is about to go down," let me know what I mean?
Armand, appreciate that. He says he just followed the show on all socials.
You the man, dog.
That's
the man.
Love, bro. Appreciate that.
You the man. You the man. You the man.
Also, for those of you who are still here, it's very important to remember this. We will be here the night things like this break. We're gonna be here. The day some of these deals break, such as what happened earlier today. We're gonna be right here on YouTube the night of. It's kind of difficult to do things in the moment, especially because I could be in the middle of work. But for the most part, you guys are always going to hear our takes on some of these things the same exact night. So I'm talking just a couple of hours after something maybe takes place.
And the truth is, the reason why I might not be able to get on in the moment is because I'm texting with folks and figuring out where all the puzzle pieces may fit. So you might not even be able to see me at that point in time because I'm still trying to get all the particulars of where this player went, the medicals, how much. There's a lot that goes into this. So bear with us, folks. You will see us real quick. I'm gonna say this, and we're leaving. This is gonna be a busy week, so don't be prepared, Ivan. Don't be surprised, rather, if you get a text from me that just says we got to strap in again. I'm hearing this and this is this. And the next thing that moves, I think a reliever is going to get done next. And I'll even throw a couple names out there. I think Robert Suarez gets signed off. I like the Phillies for him. I like the Mets for him. I think the Yankees are in on him right now. And I put the Dodgers as the fourth team. So there's four teams that I know of that are going to be, it's going to be a very interesting couple
And
of
those are all
days.
teams looking to rebuild their bullpens, by
Their
the way.
bullpens, right? And so, like, I also have heard Edwin Diaz. I've heard Edwin Diaz, but now that we know that he's looking for 5 years and the Mets ain't willing to give him 5 years, I think you can cross the Mets off the board.
Listen, if the Mets, which by the way, and Stefan has said it several times here on the show, not only tonight but on previous shows, especially in the offseason, Mets fans, while I know you guys are suffering with what took place earlier today, you might suffer some more, unfortunately. I hate the fact that I have to say that, but it's the truth,
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day, and fandom wasn't either. So if you've been riding this long, keep riding, because hopefully they'll figure it out for y'all. But anyway,
Right.
this show was fun. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm sorry, we got to it late, but we got to it nonetheless. So we appreciate y'all, and we will speak to y'all soon. By the way, if we don't speak during or after Thanksgiving, have a wonderful, safe holiday wherever you may be going with your family, your friends, and be safe. Have a wonderful time, and just don't do nothing stupid. Don't drink and drive. You know what I mean? Call an Uber. Eat a lot. You know what I mean? Enjoy your loved ones, and just be thankful for a day you get to spend with your loved ones, your friends, and your family. That's what it's all about. So
That's
happy
true.
Thanksgiving, everybody, and we will see you guys on the other side.